Hi, welcome to the third video of the SolidWorks tutorial. In this video, I'll be showing you the basics of assembling parts in SolidWorks. So in this case, we'll be assembling a toy model car. We have 5 different components here, and I'll show you how to mate each component and put it all together in a assembly. So right here we have the car chassis. If we want to start a assembly, we could go here, click on the drop down, and then choose make assembly from part. So click on that. You have to choose your assembly template. In this case, I have my own that I made, so I'll choose that. And it will let you import the car, or at least the first part. The other way of doing it is just by clicking this new document button, clicking on the assembly template, and then it would repeat that same process. You would go here to browse for whatever file you have, or if it's already open, it would be shown on this left here. So you could do the exact same thing here. Um, so when you first import your part, the first part that's imported will usually be fixed. To remove that, you would just right click the part, click on float, and it lets you move it. In this case, this part here, I want it to fix it to the origin. So the first thing I could do is by mating the planes of the assembly to the planes of the actual part. In SolidWorks and with most CAD softwares, when you're mating an object, you usually need to mate it into 3 different planes, or at least 3 times to fully fix the item. So I'll show you why now. So if I first mate the 2 front planes, so hit the mate tool here, open up your feature tree, click front plane of the part, front plane of the assembly, and then mate it. You'll see I could still move the car if I made it a second time, so top plane with the top plane. I still have one other motion of translation, so if you do it the third time, it will just fix it in the 3 planes and you won't be able to move it. There is a faster way of doing this though, so I could also just mate the origins together. So if I delete all of these, click mate, click on the origin and this origin, it's gonna mate it to the origin and would work the exact same way. Alright, so once we have the main part mated to the assembly, you can start adding the rest of the components. So there's 2 main ways of doing it. Click on insert component and then select the items. You could click on control and then click on each one to select multiple. So just like this, pulls out multiple items. Another way though is by going to Windows mode and then um, let me find the part that I want to import. So say I want this wing in the assembly. So what I could do is I could hold control on my keyboard, click on the wing, and then pull it into the assembly like that. That's only if you're working um, in with your windows separated, but in this case I don't use it too often, but that's just another way of doing it. If you need to pull multiple of the same items, you could do that by holding control, clicking the object, and then pulling it out. So in this case, I need 4 wheels, and I could pull out 4 wheels. Another way is to also just click the item here on the feature tree, click Control C, and then Control V to paste it. So duplicate all the parts I need. That's everything here. First thing I'll show you is how to mate a cylindrical rod to some type of hole. In this case, I need to fix this axle to the wheel. With cylindrical surfaces, since there's only one surface and not 2, you only need to mate it twice to fully fix it. So this outer circumference will mate into that inner one. So that's one mate, and then I also need to mate the top point here, so this flat surface, with the inner flat surface. And you have a perfectly fixed axle onto a wheel. And basically do that again for the rest of the four wheels. So I'll just do that here. So if you see here, when I chose this mate, it kind of um, flipped it. So in that case, if that happens again, so say it flips it, you could click on the mate aligned here and basically flip the alignment. In this case, I actually just clicked on the wrong feature. But yeah, you would just click on mate alignment to flip them. And with Solidworks, it basically automatically chooses exactly what type of mate for you, unlike Onshape, so you don't have to worry about what you have to choose. All right, now that I have the axles mounted onto the wheels, I want to mount the axle onto the car chassis. So choose the outer circumference of that cylinder, and then click on the inner part of the hole and mate that together. And then I also need to fix it so it's evenly spaced. In this case, it's designed so that it's a few millimeters apart. Um, so if you see here, there's a small gap in between. So in this case, I don't know the exact size or spacing of these wheels, but I do know the exact spacing of the car chassis. And you could check this by clicking on Evaluate and going to the Measure tool. From here, if I choose two faces, so say this one and this one, I could get the distance, overall distance from the two faces, so 60 millimeters there, and then from this part of the wheel to this part of the wheel, or this part of the wheel, it's going to be 65. So that means that from this point to the side of the chassis, I need to separate it about 2.5 millimeters. So to do that with mates, you'd go back to your mate tool, click on this surface, click on this surface, and it will automatically go to coincident. In this case, I want to separate it by a distance of 2.5 millimeters. So you could go and click on this distance tool and set it to 2.5 millimeters, and it will automatically do that for you. So 2.5, click yes, and now it's evenly spaced. And since I only fixed the axle to one, um, I only mated the axle once with a concentric mate, it should still freely spin. And we'll do the same thing for the other one. In this case, if you see here, it's kind of opposite, so you just click mate align, or not mate align, sorry. You'd click flip dimensions, and it would fix it. All right, now we have the wheels on the chassis. It's looking pretty good, but we do have the two other add-ons to the car, a nice wing here, and then also fog lights. So let's add the wing first. In this case, you would need to mate this 3 times since there's three different axes, or at least 3 planes on this piece here. So first, mate that part with the bottom of this insert, and then mate the side here with this side, and then finally mate this back piece so that it could fully fix itself onto the car chassis. And there you go, you have the spoiler on the car. It's looking pretty nice so far. Last part is just to mate the fog lights. In this case, it only needs 2 mates, one concentric and then one coincident. In this case, I have to move these a bit or else it's going to go through the car. So let's just choose this inner part, choose this rear part. Oh, it's a little fidgety, but what I like to do is I like to grab the parts first. So select the faces first. So select that one, hold control, select the second one, and then click on mate, and it will automatically mate. And then the next one will be the concentric one. And now we have one of the two fog lights on. Now for the last one, this one is flipped, so let's flip it back. And then the final mate here. And here we are. Now we have a fully assembled toy car. It has all of its little features, fog lights, wheels, axles, and the spoiler. Thank you for watching the SolidWorks assembly video. I hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one.